You're banned from Christmas until you apologize to your brother. After years of covering every bill, I finally cut them off. 2 weeks later, the lights went out, and my freeloading brother learned what happens when the walking wallet clocks out for good. Hey Reddit, not really sure why I'm posting this, but if you've ever been the responsible one in a family that treats you like a bank account, you'll get it. I didn't go no contact, didn't start a war. I just stopped paying for everyone else's mess. Turns out that was enough to change everything. I, Evan, 29 male, work as a machinist. It's not a flashy job, but it pays the bills. And last time I checked, bills don't care if your job sounds cool. I make good money, work long hours, and I actually like what I do. Precision, structure, things that make sense. My family? They like things that look good. Ryan, 24 male, my younger brother, is the family favorite. Always has been. Still living at home and thinks freelance digital marketing counts as a career. That's code for sleeping until noon, eating the food, and then posting motivational quotes about hustle culture. Every family gathering turns into a Ryan highlight reel. Ryan's working on his own app idea. Ryan's got great potential. Ryan helped fix the internet last week. Yeah, by unplugging the router and plugging it back in. Genius. Meanwhile, I've been the one quietly keeping everything from falling apart. After Dad's surgery 2 years ago, they were behind on hospital bills. I covered it. Then it was the electric bill, the phone plan, groceries, a temporary mortgage payment that somehow became permanent. It started with me wanting to help, being a decent son. Dad couldn't work for a few months, Mom was drowning in stress, and Ryan was networking. So I stepped in, thinking I'd take care of things until they got back on their feet. Only, they never really stood up again. Mom got comfortable letting me handle it. Dad stopped asking how the bills got paid. Ryan kept spending money he didn't have, and I just kept fixing it. It wasn't like I didn't try to stop. I did. Once. I remember it perfectly. It was summer, hot as hell, and I decided enough was enough. The electric bill had come in. $180. I stared at it, thought, not this time. I didn't pay it. I just had enough, and in this economy, a person can barely keep up with his bills. 3 days later, my phone blew up. Mom's voice cracked through the speaker, crying so hard I could barely understand her. Evan, the lights are out. The power company shut us off. Your dad's still sick. How could you do this to us? I just sat there, phone pressed to my ear, listening to her panic like I'd committed a crime. I asked, didn't Ryan say he'd cover this one? She sniffled. Ryan's been stressed. You know he's trying to get his business off the ground. Please, Evan, we can't survive without you. Survive without me. That line stuck. I caved. I paid it right then. Not because I wanted to, but because hearing my mom sound like that made me feel like the world's worst person. The lights came back on, and suddenly everyone was fine again. No thank you. No payback. Just silence. That's when it clicked. Guilt was their weapon. They didn't yell. They didn't beg. They just guilt-tripped me into compliance. Every single time I tried to pull away, they found a new way to reel me back in. Dad would call it helping the family. Mom would cry about how ungrateful I'd become. Ryan would toss in some backhanded guilt trip like, bro, we all know you make more money than anyone here. Yeah, because I work. I started noticing the pattern everywhere. When Dad's meds weren't covered, I paid. When the internet bill accidentally didn't go through, I fixed it. When Ryan's work laptop broke, I bought him a new one. Each time they swore it was temporary. Each time it became another tab they never planned on closing. I remember one Sunday dinner. I stopped by after work, grease still on my hands, just to check in. Mom smiled and said, you should clean up before sitting down, honey. We're having roast. Ryan looked at me and smirked. Man, you really live at that workshop, huh? You gotta get a real career like me. I looked at his plate. He was eating food I bought. Yeah, I said. You mean a career that comes with free room and board? He laughed like it was a joke, but the silence from my parents told me they didn't find it funny. They never did when I reminded them who was actually footing the bills. By the end of that night, I realized something that honestly pissed me off more than anything. They only noticed me when something went wrong. That realization hit harder than I expected. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. The holidays, the fake smiles, the small talk, all of it revolved around keeping the illusion alive while I quietly financed it. Ryan was the potential. Mom was the heart. Dad was the fighter. And me? I was the damn power company. That night, I sat in my apartment, small, quiet, everything paid for by me, and stared at my phone, thinking about how I got here. Somewhere between being a good son and being their lifeline, I stopped being seen as family. I wasn't their son anymore. I was their safety net, their backup plan, their walking wallet. A week before Christmas, the family group chat lights up. Christmas dinner. Confirm your seat. I scroll through the list. Mom, Dad, Ryan, Aunt Patrice, Uncle Ray, even Cousin Tammy, who only shows up when there's free food. My name? Not there. At first, I think it's an oversight. I type, "Did you forget me?" A few seconds later, the dots appear. Then Ryan replies, "Limited seats this year. Try next Christmas if you chill." I stare at my screen. Chill? The guy who's been living off me for 2 years is telling me to chill? No one says a word. Mom doesn't reply. Dad reacts with a thumbs up emoji like a coward. Aunt Patrice sends a heart like this as some kind of wholesome family update. I type again. You serious? Then wait. The chat goes dead. I call Mom. The sound of laughter and clinking plates spills through the speaker before she even says hello. I can hear Ryan in the background bragging about something, probably his new business. Hey Mom, I say. What's going on with the Christmas list? She sighs, like I'm already exhausting her. You're not invited this year, Evan. I blink. Not invited? Why? Her tone turns sharp. Because you need to apologize to your brother for what happened at his birthday dinner. You embarrassed him. My jaw tightens. You mean when I asked why he's bragging about crypto profits while borrowing rent from me? Exactly, she snaps. You made him feel small. We were celebrating him. I almost laugh. Celebrating him? For what? Being unemployed in a more creative way? Mom, he's been starting a business for 3 years. He doesn't even have a website. Evan, stop being negative, she says. If you want to come for Christmas, say sorry to Ryan. I pause, then ask flatly, Are you serious? Completely, she says, her voice firm now. Family means respect. So don't come by until you apologize. Funny, respect only ever goes one direction in this family. That's when I hang up. I don't throw the phone or yell. I just hang up, sit there in my quiet apartment, and realize this is the most peaceful December I've ever had. Later that night, my friend Mark texts me. You doing anything for Christmas? We've got room. Come by, man. Normally, I'd make an excuse. But this time, I show up. Mark's place is nothing fancy. Small house, kids running around, the smell of garlic bread and something burning in the oven. His wife hands me a beer and says, Hope you like overcooked lasagna because that's dinner. It's loud, messy, real. Nobody's pretending to be perfect. Mark's oldest daughter makes fun of him for burning the bread. Everyone laughs. And I find myself laughing too. The kind of laugh that doesn't feel forced or measured. At some point, Mark's wife asks about my family plans. I tell her the truth. Got banned from Christmas. Long story. She gives me a sympathetic look but doesn't dig. Just slides me another plate and says, You're here now. That hits harder than it should. After dinner, we sit outside. Mark hands me a mug of hot chocolate and says, So your brother's still freeloading, huh? Still? It's his full-time job. He chuckles. You ever just tell him no? Yeah, I say. And last time I did, Mom made me feel like I unplugged Dad's life support. He winces. That bad? Worse. We sit there for a while, watching his kids chase each other in the yard. It's chaos, but it's real. No manipulation, no guilt, no performance. Just noise and warmth. I can't remember the last time I felt that around my own family. At one point, Mark's little boy runs up, holding a broken toy car. Uncle Evan, fix it. The uncle part throws me off. I'm not used to being called that. I take the toy, twist a loose screw, and hand it back. The kid grins like I just saved the day. That stupid toy car does more for my mood than any thank you text my family's ever sent. Around midnight, I drive home. Snow's coming down, soft but steady. The streets are quiet, and for once, so is my phone. No guilt calls, no last minute, can you send money? Texts, just silence. When I pull into my driveway, I glance at my phone again. The group chat's still active. New photos. Ryan posing in front of the Christmas tree. Mom's caption, Family is everything. I scroll through them once, see the pile of presents, the smiling faces, the fake warmth. Then I put the phone face down. And that's when it really sinks in. Love isn't supposed to come with invoices. It's not supposed to be earned through autopay. It's supposed to feel like tonight did. Simple, honest, no strings attached. For the first time in a long time, I don't feel like anyone's son. And weirdly, that doesn't feel sad. It feels like peace. For the first time in forever, my phone isn't lighting up with guilt trips or urgent payment requests. I wake up the next morning feeling like a human instead of a utility company. I throw on my jacket and head out for coffee. There's a line at my usual spot, and I'm half awake, scrolling through work emails when I hear that annoying nasal voice behind me. Aunt Patrice. Of course. She's the type of woman who acts like her life's a talk show, always dressed like she's about to host a church fundraiser, even on a Tuesday morning. The cashier looks up and smiles. Morning, Patrice? You want your usual? She nods, then spots me. Her face tightens like she just smelled something unpleasant. Oh, look who's here. Haven't seen you since you threw a fit about Christmas. I blink. A fit? You mean the one where I wasn't invited? The cashier's eyes dart between us, sensing tension. Patrice leans over the counter and says, loud enough for everyone to hear, he's sensitive about success. The barista, freezes, unsure how to react. I smile, slow and calm. Says the woman whose biggest achievement is living off her husband's retirement check. You could hear the espresso machine choke. The barista bites her lip, trying not to laugh. A guy at the corner table straight up snorts into his muffin. Patrice's face goes red enough to match her coat. She stammers something about respecting elders before storming out with her coffee half full. The barista grins and says, you want a free shot of espresso for that? I laugh. Nah, that was satisfying enough. When I leave, I feel lighter. It's small, but it feels like balance. Like karma finally remembered my address. By afternoon, I'm back at work. It's loud in the shop, machines running, metal clanging, my kind of peace. During lunch, my phone buzzes. Ryan. I almost ignore it, but curiosity wins. Yo, can you front me 600? He says, like it's the most casual request in the world. I'm getting an engagement ring for my girlfriend. I actually laugh out loud. You're asking me to pay for your proposal? It's just until Friday, he says. You know I'm good for it. Ryan, you've been good for it since 2019. He chuckles, trying to sound confident. Come on, man. You know how much this means to me. I hang up mid-sentence. 10 seconds later, a text comes through. Come on, wallet boy, don't be dramatic. I stare at it, smirk, and type back, pretty sure your girlfriend doesn't want to marry a broke boy. Get a job and buy it yourself. Delivered. Read no reply. Good. I toss the phone aside and get back to work. My coworkers can probably tell something shifted in me because when my boss tells me to take the lead on a new job, I don't hesitate. For once, my focus isn't split between work and whatever nonsense my family's cooking up. When I clock out that evening, I stop by the grocery store, grab some takeout, and drive home in silence. No calls, no chaos. Just quiet, until my phone rings again. This time, the name on the screen makes me pause. Grandpa. I answer immediately. Hey, what's up? His voice is steady, low. Why weren't you at Christmas dinner? For a second, I think he's mad. But there's something off in his tone. Not disappointment, more like curiosity. I exhale and tell him everything. Not sugar-coated, not dressed up, just the truth. How they banned me. How Mom said I had to apologize to Ryan. How they've been guilt-tripping me into paying bills since Dad's surgery. He doesn't interrupt once, just listens. When I finish, there's a long silence on the other end. I start to think the call dropped until I hear him take a slow breath. They banned you, he says finally. Yeah. For not kissing that brat's ass? Pretty much. There's another pause, then a sound that's half sigh, half chuckle. I'll deal with them. That's all he says. No lecture, no sympathy speech, no advice, just 4 words. I'll deal with them. I ask, Grandpa, what do you mean? Click. Call ends. I sit there for a moment, staring at my phone. The old man doesn't play around, so whatever deal with them means, it's going to be something. Later that night, I get a group text from Mom. Did you talk to Grandpa? I don't reply. Another message pops up, this time from Ryan. Wow, running to Grandpa now? Pathetic. I toss the phone aside. Let them squirm. For years, I've been the one panicking while they played dumb. Now the tables are turned and it feels right. I eat my dinner in peace, watch an old movie, and when I finally go to bed, I sleep like a rock. Because for the first time, someone in the family actually gets it. And if Grandpa's handling it, I know something's about to change. For them, not for me. 3 days later, my phone buzzes early in the morning. It's Grandpa. Come by, he says. No hello, no explanation, just come by. I drive over after work. He lives out on the edge of town in the same brick house he's had since the 70s. Everything smells like old wood, oil, and black coffee. The man's kitchen hasn't changed in 50 years. When I walk in, he's sitting at the table with his mug. No sugar, no cream, just liquid asphalt in a cup. Sit, he says, nodding to the chair across from him. I grab a seat, and before I even say anything, he pushes a folded paper toward me. It's a checkbook stub. Recent. My mom's name on it. I've been helping them too, he says, matter of fact. Cash, groceries, bills. Your mom calls them emergencies. Funny thing, there's one every week. I let out a low whistle. So they've been milking you too. He grins. That dry, crooked grin he gets before saying something blunt. Milking me? Kid, they've turned it into a dairy farm. I can't help laughing. You're just realizing this now? Oh, I've known, he says. I was waiting to see when you'd get fed up. Didn't think it'd take you this long. He takes a slow sip of coffee, staring at me over the rim of his mug. You handled Christmas better than I expected. Your dad would have caved in 2 seconds. Yeah, well, I say. I'm done being the family ATM. He nods, satisfied. Good. Because they did the same thing to me. Different version. Same trick. I raise a brow. You? Yep, he says. Back when your great-grandfather was still around. He thought I was a screw-up because I didn't join his business. Cut me out for a while. But the rest of the family? Oh, they still came to me for cash. Needed loans, handouts, you name it. I paid for everyone else's mistakes until one day I stopped. Guess what happened? They panicked? He smirks. They starved. Learned real fast what no means. He leans back, creaky chair groaning. You did the right thing, kid. Don't let them guilt you back in. People like that don't change unless you cut the power line. Cut the power line, I repeat. That's poetic for you. He shrugs. I'm old, not stupid. And I'm not losing another dime to those ingrates. You shouldn't either. Let 'em sink or swim. We sit there for a long time, talking about things I never knew he went through. How he built everything he has from scratch, while the rest of the family played nice to stay on the will. He tells me, they'll call you selfish. They'll say you're cruel. It's just their way of saying, you stopped paying for my mistakes? Ignore it. It's weird, but for the first time in a long time, I feel like someone in the family is actually on my side. By the time I leave, the sky's orange and fading. Grandpa hands me a thermos of coffee for the road and says, when you finally tell them to get lost, don't look back. They'll survive. On the drive home, those words loop in my head. I get home, drop my jacket on the couch, and open my laptop. For years, I've had online statements, receipts, transfers, everything sitting there like unclaimed evidence. I start pulling it all together. It takes hours. Line after line, power bills, mortgage payments, medical copays, car repairs, grocery store transfers. Every time they said just this once, there's a timestamp proving it was never just once. By the end, I've got a digital binder, thick with proof. I title the document, The Binder. Then I print the whole thing and slide it into a black binder. Something solid I can drop on the table when the time comes. Then I start cutting ties. One by one, I cancel auto payments. The power company, gone. Internet, gone. I split the family phone plan, kept only my line and killed payment on the rest. I remove my card from every shared account, transfer all funds back into my personal checking, and set up alerts so nothing slips through. Each confirmation email feels like unhooking a chain from my neck. When I'm done, I close the laptop, lean back, and breathe. For the first time, I'm not their fallback. I'm free. The peace lasts exactly 24 hours. The next morning, the guilt campaign begins. Mom's text hits first. Wow, you're really making Grandpa turn against us. I can't believe you'd do that to family. 5 minutes later, Ryan chimes in. You're manipulating him. He's old, Evan. Stop brainwashing him. You're sick. Then Aunt Patrice piles on like clockwork. Family doesn't weaponize elders for attention. You should be ashamed. I read them all while sitting at my workbench, a wrench in one hand, my phone in the other. I don't reply. Instead, I screenshot every single message, save them to a new folder named Proof of Guilt Trips, then put my phone face down and get back to work. By lunch, the messages start turning desperate. We just need to talk. Grandpa's confused. You're tearing this family apart. I can't help but laugh. No, I mutter to myself. I just stopped funding it. That night, when I get home, I scroll through the messages one more time. Each one reads like panic disguised as concern. Proof that Grandpa was right. They only scream when the faucet runs dry. Before bed, I open the family group chat, the same one that once blew up with their fake Christmas joy. I hover for a second, then hit delete chat. The silence that follows feels earned. For the first time in years, I don't fall asleep stressed. No guilt, no buzzing phone, no urgent transfers waiting for me in the morning. Just quiet. And I sleep like a rock. For the first time in years, I'm spending my own money on me. That weekend, I go to the hardware store. I've had my eye on this monster of a toolbox for months. Matte black, heavy drawers, smooth sliding rails, Every time I walked past it, I'd think, next month, because there was always another bill that wasn't mine. Now, I swipe my card and watch the cashier print the receipt with no hesitation. The thing barely fits in the back of my truck. It feels ridiculous and perfect at the same time. Driving home, I stop at the grocery store. I buy steak, real butter, and the good coffee. The kind that comes in a tin, not the cheap bag I used to grab when my bank balance was bleeding. I grill the steak that night and eat it at my own table. Lights on, bills paid, fridge full. The silence doesn't bother me anymore. It's company. The next day, I go for a walk around the block. No calls, no stress. Just cold air and my own thoughts. Then I hear a voice behind me. Well, look who's alive. I turn. Uncle Ray. He's holding a coffee and wearing that smug grin he probably practices in the mirror. He walks up, slaps my shoulder. Heard you've been having a little attitude lately. Word gets around. Yeah? I say. Word from who? The Freeloaders Union? He laughs. The kind of fake laugh that says he didn't get the joke. You'll crawl back to your family. They always do. I raise an eyebrow. You mean like you did when Grandpa cut you off? That wipes the smile right off his face. He clears his throat and walks away, muttering something about disrespectful kids. I keep walking, grinning the whole time. That night, 2 days before New Year's, I get a voicemail from Mom. Her voice is tight, like she's trying to sound calm but already losing it. Since you won't apologize, skip New Year's too. And stop brainwashing your grandfather. He's old, Evan. You're confusing him. I delete it without listening to the rest. The peace holds for another 2 days. Then the phone rings again. I check the screen. Mom. I almost ignore it, but something tells me to pick up. Her voice hits before I even say hello. Evan, the mortgage didn't clear. The lights are out again. What did you do? I sit back in my chair. Her panic sounds a lot like the guilt trip from that summer years ago, the one that used to make me fold instantly. Except now it just sounds predictable. I didn't do anything, I say calmly. I stopped paying for things that aren't mine. You can't just... We have your father here. He still hasn't got back on his feet, and Ryan... Still unemployed? I cut in. Or did he get that engagement ring yet? She hesitates. That's not the point. We have responsibilities. No, I interrupt again. You have responsibilities. You just got used to outsourcing them to me. There's a pause. I hear her sniff, voice breaking. Please, Evan. We can't keep up. I stand, grab my jacket, and say, I'll come by. Bring the binder. She starts to ask what that means, but I hang up before she can finish. I pull the binder from my desk drawer. Black cover, thick, heavy with printouts and receipts. It's not flashy, but it's solid. Proof. The kind of thing that ends arguments before they start. I toss it in the passenger seat and head out. The snow's coming down hard, soft flakes catching in the headlights. The streets are quiet except for the hum of my truck. The binder slides a little every time I turn. I rest my hand on it at a stoplight like it's a weapon I'm about to unsheath. Because that's exactly what it is. The drive's short, but the whole way there, I'm calm. Not angry, not nervous, just steady. This isn't revenge. It's closure. For years, they've called me selfish when I stopped paying. Called me dramatic when I stood my ground. Said, family takes care of each other while they drained me dry. Now, for once, I'm the one holding the power. Literally and financially. The house comes into view, half lit, porch covered in snow. There's a generator humming faintly, probably borrowed from a neighbor. I can see Ryan pacing through the window, phone in hand, talking fast. Probably about me. I pull into the driveway slow. Headlights cut across the house, flashing over the frost-coated windows. The snow crunches under the tires. For a second, I just sit there, watching the place I used to call home. The same porch where Mom used to guilt me into paying bills. The same door Dad used to open with that fake, "Hey, champ," when he needed a favor. I take a deep breath, grab the binder, and kill the engine. The world outside is quiet except for the wind. Time to turn their emergency into accountability. I step out, boots sinking into the snow, binder tucked under my arm. The porch light flickers once, then dies. Fitting. Because by the time I leave, they're going to see exactly what happens when their walking wallet stops walking. The porch creaks under my boots as I knock once and walk in without waiting. The door is unlocked. Typical. The smell of burnt candles and leftovers hangs in the air. Christmas decorations are still up. Fake tree leaning, tinsel drooping, lights tangled around a half-broken reindeer. The place looks festive and miserable at the same time. Mom's sitting at the kitchen table, pale, wringing her hands. Dad's next to her, quiet, eyes sunken like he hasn't slept in days. Ryan's pacing the floor, phone in hand, talking fast into the air. He looks up when I enter, fake confidence dripping off him. Wow, he says, smirking. Here comes the hero. Gonna save the day again? Not this time, I say. I set the binder down on the table. The sound of it hitting wood is sharp, like a gavel. Nobody moves. I pull out the first set of pages, unfold them, and slide them forward. Every payment, every transfer, every fake loan I made to keep this place running, I say. Let's start with the mortgage. Mom blinks, confused. What is this supposed to be? The truth, I say flatly. I flip a page. See that? That's me covering your mortgage for 8 straight months while Ryan here bragged online about his crypto gains. Next one's the power bill, then the internet, then groceries. All me. Ryan scoffs. You're exaggerating. I slide a stack of printed receipts toward him. You really want to argue math with me? Here's every transaction down to the cent. Mom shot me a glare, fingers clenching over the papers. Family doesn't keep scores. Family doesn't disrespect too. I cut her off. Dad rubs his temples, silent. The old man looks more like a shadow than a father. Ryan crosses his arms. You act like you're some saint. Family helps each other. That's what family does. I glare at him. Family doesn't turn one person into their personal ATM. He rolls his eyes, muttering, Here we go, martyr mode again. Something in me snaps. I slam the binder shut, the sound echoing through the house. You wanted me to apologize for paying your bills? You live off me, and I'm the problem? Mom flinches. Dad looks up but says nothing. Ryan straightens, trying to stare me down. You're turning everyone against us, he says, voice rising. You think Grandpa's proud of you? You've poisoned him? You're brainwashing the whole family against us. I take a slow step closer. No, Ryan. I just stopped lying for you. He steps forward, face red. You think you're better than me? No, I say. I know I'm better than you. Because I work. That's all it takes. He shoves me hard, hands shaking. You don't talk to me like that in my house. Your house? I laugh. You mean the one I've been paying for? He lunges again, this time trying to grab me by the collar. Reflex kicks in. I block, push back, and he stumbles. The fake confidence drains right off his face. He swings, wild, sloppy, desperate. I duck, pivot, and land one clean hit straight to his jaw. The sound's heavy, dull thud, chair scraping, Ryan crashing backward onto the floor. Mom screams, Evan, stop! Dad jumps up, half between us, half frozen. Ryan groans, clutching his face, eyes wide like he can't believe I actually hit him. Maybe that'll knock some sense into you, I say, breathing steady. Try punching a clock next time. And for a second, the whole house goes dead quiet except for Ryan's labored breathing and the soft hum of the fridge. Mom rushes to him, panicking. Are you okay? He mumbles something through his hand, voice muffled and angry. Dad finally speaks, voice low. Enough. I look at him. Yeah, it is. I grab the binder off the table, sliding it under my arm. I'm done being your backup plan, I say. You want a provider? Look in the mirror. Both of you. Mom looks up, tears streaking down her face. Evan, please. No, I interrupt, calm and cold. Please, nothing. You made your choice when you replaced gratitude with entitlement. I nod toward the papers scattered across the table. You've got all the instructions you need. Who to call, how to pay, what to fix. You'll figure it out. Ryan tries to speak, but it comes out as a garbled mess. He spits a little blood onto the tile. You'll regret this, he says, half slurred. I turn toward the door. The only thing I regret is taking this long. When I step outside, the air hits hard. Cold, crisp, freeing. Behind me, the muffled noise of yelling starts up again. Mom's voice sharp, Dad's deep and tired. I don't look back. Through the windshield, the house looks smaller than I remember. Dim lights flicker inside, decorations drooping, everything they built on my dime slowly caving in. I put the truck in reverse and back out of the driveway, tires spitting slush. For once, I don't feel guilty. I don't feel angry. Just steady, like I finally clocked out of a job I never applied for. By the time I hit the main road, the house is gone from view. The snow keeps falling, soft and silent, covering the mess I left behind. Good. Let it bury it. The snow kept falling that night, blanketing everything in white silence. And just like that, the noise stopped. Not just outside, but in my life. Weeks pass. My phone doesn't light up every few hours anymore. No guilt calls, no urgent texts, no fake emergencies disguised as love. Just quiet. Work's been steady. I've been getting home on time, cooking real dinners, actually enjoying the food instead of scarfing it down between crisis calls. The toolbox I bought still shines like it's new, lined up perfectly next to my truck. Every time I see it, It reminds me I finally spent money on something that was mine. Grandpa calls every now and then. How's freedom treating you? He always starts with that. Peaceful, I tell him. He laughs that raspy smoker laugh of his. Careful, kid. They'll try to come crawling back soon. Just keep your boots on so they can't bite your ankles. Don't worry, I say. The boots stay on. He's proud. I can hear it in his voice, even when he pretends to be grumpy. Says he's been watching them scramble, and honestly, it's been kind of funny. But then, something shifts. It starts small. One night, I get a missed call from Dad. No voicemail. A week later, another one. This time I answer. He sounds tired, not angry, not fake humble, just worn out. We set up autopay, he says right away. The mortgage, the utilities, everything's covered. We're handling things ourselves now. I don't say anything for a second. Then he adds, voice cracking just a bit. I'm sorry, son. We shouldn't have put that on you. I guess. I just assumed you could handle it because you always did. I nod, even though he can't see it. You figured it out, I say simply. He exhales like he's been holding that breath for months. We're trying to. We don't drag it out. No emotional speech, no dramatic ending, just honesty. For the first time, it feels like he actually sees me. A few days later, Mom calls. I expect guilt, excuses, or some half-baked apology. Instead, she just says, I made dinner. No holiday, no reason. I just miss you. I pause. What's the catch? I ask. No catch, she says softly. You don't have to bring anything. Just yourself. That one lands differently. I tell her I'll think about it. Then comes the last text I ever expected. From Ryan. It's short. No attitude, no emojis, no wallet boy. Just, I got a job. Helping with bills. Should have done it sooner. I read it twice, half expecting a follow-up like, can you cover gas till payday? But it doesn't come. Just silence. I don't reply right away. I leave it on read, not out of spite, but because I want to believe he means it. Later that week, Grandpa calls again. He doesn't waste time with small talk. Heard the freeloaders finally clocked in? I laugh. Guess so. He chuckles, low and proud. You did good, Evan. You taught them responsibility. You just stopped paying. That's power. Didn't feel like power, I say. Just felt like survival. Same thing sometimes, he says. We talk for a bit. Nothing heavy, just two guys catching up. Before hanging up, he says, you're the first one in this family to break the cycle. Don't let them pull you back into it. I won't, I promise. And I mean it. A few days later, I'm sitting in the same coffee shop where I roasted Aunt Patrice weeks ago. The same baristas behind the counter, probably remembering that day. She spots me and grins. Hey, the legend's back. You want your usual? I smirk. Yeah, and make it to stay this time. I grab a corner seat, sip my coffee, and scroll through my phone. Notifications are boring now. Work updates, a few memes from Mark, nothing dramatic. Then a message pops up from Dad. Family dinner next week. Your call. No pressure, no guilt. Just an open door. I stare at it for a moment, then put my phone down. Out the window, the snow's starting again. Soft, harmless, quiet. I think about everything that's happened. The binder sitting neatly on my shelf at home. Not as a threat, not even as evidence. Just a reminder. Proof that I took my life back. I smile to myself, take another sip of coffee, and think, guess they finally learned how to turn the lights back on. The bell above the door jingles as someone new walks in, cold air rushing through. I glance up, then back down at my cup, feeling that rare kind of peace that doesn't come from fixing anyone else, just from knowing I don't have to. For the first time, I don't owe anyone a thing, and it feels damn good. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way.